Ken Trahan along with Lenny Vangilder. It's our First NBC Bank weekend review. Or that's not a review. It's a preview. We'll review later, but we're previewing now. And it's brought to you by First NBC Bank. And First NBC Bank is a proud sponsor of SportsNOLA.com. Well, you can review what happened with the Pelicans. They've lost the first 2 games on their road trip. The Wizards still to come. And it's a familiar script. They play well for a while. They have a really good half or a really good quarter, but then they always throw in a terrible quarter. And the result is typically the same. They lose. They don't win on the road.
Third quarter against Toronto, fourth quarter against Detroit. That's the quarter you didn't want. And it's getting to the point now where, they've got to make some decisions internally is what you're going to do. Not only while you're still within reach of that 8th spot in the West, and that's awfully tempting. The fact is you've only got a better record than 5 teams in the NBA at this point. What are you really trying to accomplish? And like we've said, even if you get on a run and get to that 8th spot, great, you're going to lose in 4 or 5 games to Golden State in the first round of the playoffs. So, again, what does that accomplish by doing that? Are you better off being a seller when the trade deadline comes up here in 3 weeks? Stay tuned, I guess.
Yeah, good question, because it's obvious to me they're going nowhere at this point. And, you got 50 games in the books. You got 32 left to play. You can't keep waiting for the light to go on. This is who they are. And, again, maybe they'll still contend for that 8th spot. Maybe not, but does it really matter? I think you have to look forward, and you have to do something looking forward, which means make a deal for the future to set your team up for next year, not this year, because this year is a waste. Sorry, that's my opinion. Where the Saints are concerned, new coaches arriving for Sean Payton, almost to where he needs to be with that staff, not quite.
Not quite, and we've gotten some official news out of the organization in Bradford Banta and Mike Nolan. The reports out there that Curtis Johnson is joining the staff as well. Interestingly, the same day that John Morton leaves the Saints staff to go be offensive coordinator for the Jets, Curtis Johnson is, if you will, relieved of his contractual duties with the Chicago Bears. Couldn't have been more perfect timing for CJ, of course, a New Orleans native, and the opportunity to get back home.
Yeah, happy for him, and I'm sure he'll fit in very well with the situation that he's very comfortable with, and I don't think there's any doubt he'll do a good job. We've seen that, and it's happened before. National Recruiting Signing Day, of course, is by the books, and only time will tell just how teams did, certainly around the state. I know Nicholls State is excited about what they did. ULM, very excited about what they did, and a lot of people pointing at their class as being a good one. ULL had a smaller class. Northwestern State, a huge class. McNeese State flipped a couple of guys late, and they always are competitive and do a good job. Southeastern, again, their class is kind of mixed as it usually is from inside and outside of the state. And then, of course, when it comes to Tulane and LSU, where Tulane is concerned, mostly an external class, Lenny, only a couple of local kids. And then LSU, of course, a mixture. And LSU still ranked in the top 10, but a disappointing ending in terms of the last 2 days. They lost 4 out of 5 of their primary targets. And the end result is they're changing some things in their staff.
They are. The word just out on Thursday that they will make a couple of changes in their staff. Jabbar Jalouk being reassigned. Davian Craig will not be retained. These are not surprises by any means. You see this oftentimes right after National Signing Day. You see it on the pro side where you make moves with scouts and things like that right after the NFL draft is over. You get the work done that you need to get done. You keep things together, and then you make moves. So, again, these are not total surprises as Ed Ogeron still tries to finalize exactly what his staff is going to look like heading into spring ball.
Well, I guess the thing that you really have to look at where LSU is concerned, there's no doubt they have good football coaches on their staff. Very good coaches, most people would say. But do they have recruiters? Because the one thing Les Miles had, and the one thing he did, was he had a staff that recruited, and he recruited, and they did very well in that regard. So I guess that would have to be the question. Now, some people might have questioned the coaching under Les Miles, didn't question the recruiting. Now maybe it's the other way around.
Right. And look, one number that jumps out from LSU's signing class, where in the past they've probably had 11, 12, 13 kids from Louisiana, half or a little better than half. This year, only 8 out of 23. Now, if you want to throw Miles Brennan in there, he's a de facto New Orleanian, although he is in school in Mississippi, so he doesn't count. But even so, 8 out of 23 is not a big number. And when you lose guys to Alabama like they did late, you're not only think of when we talk about the Saints in the NFC South, when they go take away a player from an Atlanta or Carolina. You're weakening one of your division rivals while making yourself stronger. It's the same thing there. You're not only you're losing a player, but you're losing them to your biggest rival, the team you've got to beat if you're going to win an SEC title.
Yeah, lost players late to Auburn, to Mississippi State, and to Florida State, of course, as Lenny mentioned, Alabama in particular. And with Tulane, as mentioned, Willie Fritz's comfort zone is not in Louisiana at this point. His system obviously is different than what most people run, and ultimately, I think he will recruit more in state. It becomes a matter of A, can they qualify? B, are they going to fit the system? And C, is he going to settle or not settle for seconds and thirds, because it's obvious he doesn't want to do that in Louisiana.
No, he doesn't, and he made that very clear on Wednesday. I think his challenge here in New Orleans is, you've had a generation or more now where people have moved away from being Tulane fans, and that was built in for you for such a long time that you would be able to get guys in New Orleans and the surrounding area. And look, Curtis Johnson, to his credit, did a good job trying to get guys here, but obviously, with the exception of the 1 year, really didn't pan out too much in terms of success. You're right, his comfort zone is out there, and it's probably more appealing to try to get guys to Tulane from outside the New Orleans area.
And then, of course, with high school sports, congratulations to Holy Cross for winning the Catholic League Wrestling Championship for the first time since 1986. Big dual meet win over Jesuit before a huge crowd Wednesday night. And, of course, with high school soccer, the playoffs beginning Friday, girls, boys. And you can follow SportsNOLA.com for the results. You can also look at our previews of both at SportsNOLA.com. With high school basketball getting deep into the second round of district play in many cases, we've got a good one for you Friday night from Bob Conlon Gymnasium.
Right. Rummel Brother Martin right here on SportsNOLA.com. You can also listen to it on WGSO 990 AM. Friday night, look, Catholic League race is wide open. One thing we've found thus far is anybody can beat anybody, it seems like. Doesn't matter home, away, or whatever. There have been some surprising results thus far in the Catholic League. So we'll see what happens Friday night. And that, of course, is not the only basketball we have this weekend, is it? Yeah. College basketball Saturday night on WHNO. Southland Conference, couple of teams from our area, UNO and Nichols from Lakefront Arena. Watch it on WHNO Saturday at 11 p.m. We'll re-air it again Monday at 4. So, good Southland Conference action. UNO with a tough loss on Wednesday night to fall out of a tie for first place in the league, but they are right in the mix right now.
Looking forward to that from Lakefront Arena on Saturday. As always, Lenny, thank you, and you have a great weekend.
We'll see you Monday.
And thank you as well. That's our First NBC Bank weekend preview, brought to you by First NBC Bank, proud sponsor of SportsNOLA.com. He's Lenny, I'm Kenny. Have a great weekend, and God bless you.